Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Kelsey and this is Zero to Hero, where I talk to you guys about how we can all reduce our impact on planet Earth in our everyday lives. For today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys about palm oil, which is something that I feel like was getting a little bit more attention a few years ago, like maybe even 10 years ago, but has since kind of gone under the radar and I haven't heard a whole lot about it recently. There's of course information if you look it up, but in terms of what people are talking about, what's in the news, what's on social media sites, I really haven't heard much conversation about palm oil. So if you don't know anything about it at all, or if you're just looking for some new information, this video is going to include what palm oil is, why it's something that a lot of people are trying to avoid, and then basically how you can avoid palm oil or reduce your palm oil consumption in your everyday life. Alright, so first of all, what is palm oil? Palm oil is an oil, shocker, that is derived from the fruit of the African oil palm. And it is one of the very few vegetable oils, along with coconut oil, that is solid at room temperature, so basically below 75 degrees, give or take. It's a solid instead of a liquid, and it actually has a really long history and tradition as a cooking oil and a few other uses in Southeast Asia, in the tropics of Africa, and then also in parts of Brazil. However, palm oil is no longer just used in the areas that it's native to or in small areas that it's been exported to. It's global. It's been globalized, it's been industrialized, and now palm oil is the #1 used vegetable oil on the planet, and at least in the US, it can be found in up to 50% of consumer goods. That's not 50% of foods, that's 50% of consumer goods. And if you guys are looking for the numbers on this, I will link all of my sources in the description below. Alright, so why is palm oil bad? Why are people trying to sort of avoid this as something they're using in their everyday lives? The two big words are deforestation and monoculture. So deforestation, pretty clear-cut, pun, right? It's when people are clearing forests to grow a crop. Monoculture, if you don't know, is basically the form that most modern agriculture takes. So if you see an entire field of corn, the way you will sometimes in the Midwest, just miles and miles and miles and miles of nothing but corn, that's a monoculture. It means there's only one type of thing growing there. And then when you combine deforestation and monoculture, the problem is that leaves no room at all for the native species. And now, of course, people need to grow agricultural goods. They need to make a living. Those agricultural products are in high demand. Sometimes they feed the world. However, this practice is really, really concentrated and practiced at a very, very focused level in a few areas. And the two biggest are India and Indonesia. Now, a couple of statistics for those two countries. In India, palm oil production is the #1 cause of deforestation, and in Indonesia, deforestation for palm oil production creates 80% of that country's CO2 emissions. As with most things, this practice is not really a problem when it's practiced at a small local level, like it has been for hundreds of years traditionally. If the people are growing it to use as their own cooking oil in their area, that's not really going to be so much of a problem. The problem comes with, like I said, that globalization and industrialization, where the global market for palm oil completely skyrocketed, and that means that those two areas are now clearing more and more and more of the rainforest to try and grow it. The clear cutting of the rainforest to grow trees for palm oil affects a few species really, really hard, and these include Sumatran tigers, and Asian elephants, and then most famously orangutans. So orangutans are the ones that a lot of the time you'll see pictures of, where there's just one lone orangutan sort of sadly walking through an area that has been clear cut or burned to create more palm oil trees. So while palm oil is really, really useful, obviously it makes its way into, like I said, 50% of our consumer goods, there are a lot of problems with it, both with a direct effect on the local species, a lot of those which are really precious to the countries and I think to a lot of people all over the world who care about endangered species. And then also because deforestation itself releases a lot of CO2 and greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, especially if those areas are being burned. So, what can you do to avoid it? Unfortunately, palm oil is almost impossible to avoid entirely, especially if you, like myself, are living in the US and getting most of your food from grocery stores. And honestly, it doesn't really matter what kind of grocery store. It can be your standard Safeway, Vons, whatever, all those really, really big chains. It can be a small natural food store. It can be something like Whole Foods. It doesn't really matter. Palm oil is hugely ubiquitous. Some of the products that almost always contain palm oil include packaged bread, vegan cheese, cosmetics, especially lipstick, soap, ice cream, cleaning products, Nutella, candles, toothpaste, just to name a few. And you think, oh, no worries, well then I'll just read the back of the package like I do and make sure that I'm not buying anything that says it has palm oil in it. Wrong again. Here are just a few names under which palm oil may masquerade on a list of ingredients. Palm kernel, palm fruit oil, palmulin, palmitic acid, sodium kernelate, palmityl alcohol, stearic acid, glycerol, cetyl alcohol, vegetable oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and many, many more. Those were just, I didn't want to overrun you guys. But it's almost impossible to avoid. I listed a lot of the things that it's contained in, but really, the number one thing is just like any packaged snack food is probably going to have some, if it's any of those like Nabisco, Nestle, any of those big packaged snack foods, snack cookies, chips, just so many of them are going to have palm oil or a derivative of palm oil. And you'll notice that I said sodium lauryl sulfate. That may sound familiar to a lot of you guys because that is something that a lot of more natural product minded consumers are looking to avoid in things like shampoo. It's a lathering agent, so that's where that's going to come in with a lot of the cleaning products too. That is almost impossible to avoid. So it's really, really difficult, and basically the only way that you could completely cut palm oil out of your life would be to completely abandon all packaged goods. That's insane. Unless you are homesteading, unless you are a full-time stay-at-home homemaker who has a garden and is growing all the food, is processing that food into delicious, wholesome meals for yourself and or your family, and has the time to make your own laundry detergent, your own bathroom cleaners, your own shampoos, it's really almost impossible. But I don't want that to make you feel discouraged. Basically, do the best that you can. Avoid packaged snack foods. Ideally, you could pick up something from maybe a farmer's market where the list of ingredients is a lot shorter and you know exactly what's in it. However, I know that that's expensive, and I know that not all of us, myself included, can afford to do that kind of thing. So really just do the best that you can. I'm going to make a video on making your own laundry detergent, which actually is a lot cheaper than buying stuff from the store, but even I have a package of Ritz crackers downstairs, and they're so good. And then I looked at the back this morning, and it says, at least it's honest, I'm pretty sure it just says palm oil on the back, and you know what, that's the only packaged snack that I have bought in several weeks. And so nobody's perfect. I'm not asking anybody to become homesteaders, to make all of your own stuff, to never buy packaged goods again. That would be so hypocritical, right? We have lives, we're busy, we can't afford to be doing that. But anytime that you can reduce the number of packaged goods you're buying, you're likely going to be reducing the amount of palm oil that is in your life. Bonus, you're probably also going to be reducing the amount of plastic that is in your life. Alright, so that's about all I have on palm oil. There's a lot more information out there if you guys are curious. I will include in the description below sort of the list of sources that I used to get some of the numbers and information for this video. Good luck out there. Let me know how it goes, and of course, in the comments, let me know if you have any questions, comments, or if there's a topic that you would like to see explored in a future video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys soon.